Welcome everyone to this November 19th webinar. We're going to be discussing how to share out report cards through JMC Office. I'm Rachel Cox. I am on the support to training team here at JMC. I've been with JMC about 3 years. I spent just about 15 years in the college classroom teaching college writing classes, and then I spent a few years as an administrator at a Catholic elementary school, and that's how I came to take this position here at JMC. And today I'm joined by Brian, and actually Brian's going to be leading most of today's presentation. Brian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, Rachel, thank you. My name is Brian Wall, and I joined the JMC team about 2.5 years ago, also on the support to training team with Rachel. I spent 34 years in public education in Iowa, first 10 as a high school math teacher, and the last 24 as a middle school, high school principal. And I was a JMC user for over 30 of those 34 years.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Let's get going. If you're ready to share your grades with families, we've got all of the information you need here today. Once grades are submitted, JMC Office makes it simple to share report cards with families, whether you're sending course grade or standards-based report cards. From selecting terms and student groups to customizing messages and emailing reports, you can ensure families receive accurate, complete information quickly at the end of each term. And if you have any questions today as we're going through our material, go ahead and put them in the Q&A feature here in RingCentral, and we will get to questions at the end of each section in this webinar. And we'll start with printing report cards. And like we said, we're going to start with that course grade report card.
All right,
and I'll give it over to you, Brian. Sorry.
Now that the term has ended and teachers have submitted end-of-term course grades to the office, you're ready to share report cards with families. With JMC Office, you can print or email report cards that include attendance details, GPAs, class ranks, and more, ensuring families receive accurate information quickly. Send report cards by email in just a few clicks, while automatically printing hard copies for families without an email address on file so no one is left out. Once teachers have submitted grades to the office, go to Grading, Reports, Report Cards to print or email end-of-term course grade report cards. Step 1. Select the term type from the Term Type drop-down list. Then choose the appropriate radio button to filter the report cards by term. Step 2. Narrow the range of course grade report cards to print or email by selecting a radio button in the Select box. Then complete the appropriate fields shown below. By sequential, we'll give you a range of students by JMC student ID number. By random, will be individually selected students from a list of all active students. By grade, you can choose a range of grade levels, for example, from 6 to 8. Or by advisor, a range of advisor by ID, for example, from 1 to 10. Step 3, place a check mark in the appropriate checkbox or boxes to include the following items on the report card. GPA would be the cumulative GPA for the student's academic career, the GPA for the current term, and/or the GPA for the year. Grading options would include class rank, honor roll result, and/or the number of credits received towards graduation. Attendance information, including tardies, excused, and/or unexcused absences, and other, the student's legal name, standards and benchmarks, instances, and/or sort by primary contact. Step 4, click the Preview button to view course grade report cards and enable emailing them to families from JMC Office. Step 5, place a check mark in the Email if possible checkbox to send the report card to primary contacts by email. Step 6, optional, enter an email address in the message box to display in the body of the email. For example, please see the attached form for second quarter teacher changes. Fun fact, add a little pizzazz to your message using the formatting tools, font, weight, size, the sky's the limit. Even insert a link by using the globe icon. Step 7, optional, Place a check mark in the Email Student checkbox to send the report card directly to the student. Step 8. It says optional, but it's actually not optional. You are required to enter an email address in the Reply To address field to designate where replies to your email will be sent. Step 9 is optional. Click the Choose File button to add a file from your computer as an email attachment. Step 10, also optional, click the Formatting tab to further customize your report card. Select a radio button next to the size option to adjust the vertical orientation of the printed report card. Select the font size and spacing option used on the printed report card from the appropriate drop-down list. Customize the labels of your quarters, semesters, trimesters, or hexes by entering your preferred label in the appropriate field. Click the Defaults button to return to the recommended settings, and/or click the Update button to save your formatting changes. Step 11, optional. Click the Messages tab to insert a custom message on the bottom of the report card for all grades or for selected grade levels. Click the Clear button to remove all messages from all grade levels. Place a check mark next to the appropriate grade level option and enter a message in the field to add to the report card of the students of that grade level. Click the Update button to save all changes to messages. Step 12, click the Print button to print and email course grade report cards, or click the Export button to save them as a CSV file.
All right, so we'll take a live look at printing or emailing those end of term course grades. And I'm going to let Brian kind of boss me around here. Brian's going to lead me through.
All right, so we're going under Grading, Reports, Report Cards. We'll just work our way through this screen. Our term type choice up there in the upper left to the term that you are just ended that you're going to be printing these report cards out for. Moving to the right, we've got some options on whether we're sending out to a sequential group of students, some random students, to a grade or grades of students, or by advisor. And then that whole, And then that whole middle part of the screen are just options of things that you can include or not include on the report cards. It's really up to you to customize the report card information as you see fit. I guess my only advice is that I was always, didn't want to have information overload on those report cards, or if there was something that I didn't feel like was particularly relevant or ready to go at the moment, I might not include that on the report card. For example, if we hadn't had time or hadn't done our honor rolls yet, I might not include that result on the report card. Once I've got those options all set, I do need to preview before I'll be able to move to that next section. You'll see the report cards show up down below, so you can take a look at how they're going to look when they print and or email to people. And now I can go back to that box above and choose if I'm going to email them. If I check the email box, we're going to primary contacts. I can choose to send them to students as well if I would like to. There's that reply to email, which is not optional. You do need to put something in there. I sometimes use the no reply at and then my school domain if I didn't want people replying directly to that email message. You do have the ability to attach a couple files. Keep in mind that any file you attach is going to everybody in the group that you've selected. So you wouldn't want to use a document that was intended for only one or a small group of students if you were sending this out to your entire building, for example. And then the message box where you can add a custom message to that as well. Down below, we can take a look at the Formatting tab. These are the column headings. Well, first we choose the form that we want, 1 up, 2 up. If you print hard copy of them, the 11 inches 2 up, we'll put 2 of them on the same piece of paper if you're looking to save a little paper. You can choose your font size, your line spacing, and then you have a number of options available there for column headings. Now, a little note about these column headings. There is every possible heading there that JMC anticipated a school might need to use. You may not use all of them. Any column heading that you don't need, you're going to want to just clear out that box so that that column heading doesn't print on your report card. So narrow it down just to the column headings you need. For example, if we're doing Q1 report cards, we don't need Q2, Q3, Q4 on that report card. So you can clean up the appearance of the report card a little bit with that formatting option. You don't have a lot of control over how much you put in there. You can change from the defaults, but you're limited to 2 or 3 characters in each of those boxes. And if you ever want to return to the defaults, click on the defaults button. It'll restore all of them. Then you can go back to, if you want to take a look at what you've done, you can go back to the report cards themselves and hit the preview again. It'll show you what your changes look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I cleared quite enough out of there.
But I guess the important story there is that anything that has a entry in the box is going to appear on your report card. So if you don't need a column, just clear out the entry for that box. It won't show up on your report card. Finally, the Messages tab. This is where you can put custom messages on, either for a specific grade level or for all grades that you've chosen to print.
Yeah, and this was not quite in those screenshots that we had before because this page gets really long, but here's where those clear and update buttons are.
Correct. One thing while we're still in the live look that wasn't mentioned on the slide is some of you may have made your own custom report cards in JMC. So if you were printing those custom report cards, we're also going to find that under grading and under reports. And then we're going to go almost all the way to the bottom of that list to print report card forms. Here you're going to have the same options that we did on regular report cards in terms of the term type, what group or groups of students are you sending it to, what grade levels. Only now you also have the ability to choose your custom-made report card that you're going to be printing. Again, you can email if possible. You can add a reply to address, probably required. You can attach files. You can all the things you could do under the, I guess what I'd call the standard report card, you can do under your custom report cards as well. And that should do it for our live look, unless I missed something else you think we had to look at, Rachel?
No, I don't think so. I can just check and see if we've got any questions. Looks like we have one from Ashley. She's asking, if you choose 11 inches 2 up and email them, will that include 2 in the email?
No, it's going to go just one report card to each recipient. I suppose if a parent or a contact happen to have multiple students within that chosen grade span, it's possible they would print them on one form, but it's not gonna double up unnecessarily, I guess is what I'm saying.
Great.
It's really more a choice if you're printing hard copies and you wanted to save some paper.
Okay, well, it looks like we don't have any other questions right now. So I think we are good to continue on to talk about printing standards and benchmarks report cards. And again, I'll throw it to Brian.
Printing and emailing standard-based report cards is one of the final steps of the term and an important way to keep families informed about student progress. Once teachers have submitted their standards-based results, simply select the correct term and student group, then send report cards by email to students and their primary contacts to wrap up the grading period. Head to Standards and Benchmarks, Reports, Print Standards and Benchmarks report cards to complete this final step of the term. Step 1, select a term from the term type drop-down list, then choose the appropriate radio button to filter the report cards by term. You're going to hear a lot of repetition here as we work through these selecting and sorting options. Step 2, narrow the range of standards-based report cards to print by selecting a radio button in the select box, then complete the appropriate fields shown below. And these are the same fields that we talked about earlier for regular report cards. Step 3, select a radio button from the form size box to choose the paper size for printing standards-based report cards. Same choice as we had with regular report cards. Step 4, place a check mark in the email if possible checkbox to send the report card to primary contacts by email. Step 5, which is optional, enter an email message in the message box to display in the body of the email. For example, please see the attached form for second quarter teacher changes. And again, add a little pizzazz to your message by inserting web links, changing font color, size, style, and more, using the features provided in the formatting toolbar. Step 6, optional, place a check mark in the email student checkbox to send the report card directly to the student. Step 7 says optional. It's not optional. Enter an email address in the reply to email field to designate where replies to your email will be sent. Step 8, optional. Click a choose file button to add a file from your computer as an email attachment. Step 9, click the print button to print and email standards-based report cards, or click the export button to save them as a CSV file. One thing that I didn't mention that when we were doing the live look at the regular ones, if we actually carry through to where we click print, it's going to send emails of the report card to all the parent contacts that you have an email address in your system. For those contacts that you might not have an email address, it's going to generate a PDF of those report cards, which you can then print. So it's going to take into account the ones you can email, and it's going to automatically create a PDF of those that you need to print to put in the regular mail. Same would be true for both regular course grade report cards and standard-based report cards.
Yep. And another question we get every so often, Brian, as well, is that people will call and say, how come it's printing 2 report cards for this student? If a student has 2 separate primary contacts, it'll print 1 for each contact.
Correct. Good point.
All right. Well, let's take a live look at emailing and printing those standards-based report cards. All right, Brian, where are we heading?
All right, now we're going to go down to standards and benchmarks, reports, print standards and benchmarks report cards. You're going to see the familiar term type choice up in the upper left. Just choose the term that you've just ended. You're going to see the choices for what students do you want to send report cards for. That's sequential, random, by grade, and by advisor. I'd say the most frequently used one there is by grade. And you're choosing the band that is using those standard-based report cards. Form size, I think the most standard is just to use that default of use form setting. And then you have the email if possible option, the ability to email the student if you want to, a place to put the reply to email address and attach files if you so choose. And the ability to add a little custom message if you'd like as well. Let's go ahead and hit the print on this one. Who knows? We're in a demo database, so it's hard telling what we're going to get this time.
Okay, I might limit this just so that not so many get sent out to whoever has emails in the system, myself included.
One difference you do note on this window, you don't get a chance to look at the report cards before you print and email them. Just because of the nature of standard-based report cards and the kind of form that they are, you don't get the preview option. You go directly to emailing them if possible and printing those that can't be emailed.
And one thing that I would often do, because we used standards and benchmarks report cards at my school, I would not click this email right away, and I would print them to a PDF so I could just review, and I wouldn't do all of the school. I would maybe just pick one student just so that I could make sure that it looked all right before I was sending it out.
Yeah. And some schools like to have a hard copy of every student's report card, standard based or otherwise. So then you, like Rachel said, uncheck the email if possible. And then you'll generate that file of PDFs of everybody's report card if you want a hard copy to stick in a CUME folder or something like that.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and hit print. Let's see what happens. So here are, okay, so emailed 15 report cards to contacts. So that lets me know who got emails. And then here are those report cards that, like Brian said, were sent to a PDF.
I like that it tells you who it emailed and then it
Mhm.
gives you the ones that you need to print to stick in snail mail.
Yep. Yeah. That's great. And your report cards will have grades in them. It's a little tough in a demo database. We don't necessarily do a great job of keeping up on our grades. All right. We do have a few questions coming in, Brian. Bridget wants to know if there's a way to view a report of these emails after they're sent. So that would be that report, Bridget, that first page here that lets you know who was sent report cards. It lists the student, lists the contact name, and then it shows you the email address that it was sent to. So that is one way of keeping track of that. And then Amanda said, is there a way we can preview the email before it's sent or get a confirmation of what and how we're sent? So that's kind of what we were just talking about there, Amanda. Unclick that email if possible, hit print so that you can have them sent to a PDF. You can review them, and then that form at the top, once you do hit the email, lets you know who was emailed. All right, question answered. Okay, we're good. It looks like we were anticipating a lot of these questions before they came about, Brian.
Awesome.
Okay.
I suppose if they wanted to see what the emailed version looks like, I don't know. I guess I almost always had a teacher that had kids in school, and they became my guinea pig if I wanted to see what parents were going to see.
Yep, absolutely. We did the same thing too. I was usually that parent.
I got to be too old to be that parent.
All right. I think that is about it for questions. Anything else that we need to add before we wrap things up, Brian?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. It's just one of those things that you do either 4 times a year or twice a year, depending on what your terms are. So those things you don't do as often. Sometimes a reminder on the steps is helpful, but that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to look these things up, especially that first term, because you haven't done it since last spring. So, I mean, we do have a lot of great resources. All of these videos that we do are recorded and saved on our YouTube training channel. But if there's just like one thing that you need to remember how to do, I can't stress enough. If you come to our little widget here in the corner and click on this, you can visit our help center, which takes you to a repository of literally thousands of articles that have to do with really any topic in JMC. And if I type in grading, it'll show me a whole bunch of resources on grading. The more specific you get in the search, probably the better your search results will be. The other thing, because I am seeing a few names in here from people that are from some of our new schools. If you are a new user to JMC, we've kind of created a little sub help center, I guess our new resource, our new user resource hub. And this is just another collection of resources that are super handy for those new users, whether you're a new school to JMC or you have new staff at your school. This breaks down some of those basic skills that any new user to JMC should know, and this will get them up and running in JMC in no time. So just another couple of different ways that you can access information to help you with those steps that you don't do all the time, maybe once a quarter, maybe once a year. This will just help you refresh your memory.
And I can tell you, Rachel, sometimes old is new again. So yeah, just because it says it's for new users, don't be afraid to dive in there yourself if you feel like you need to brush up on some things.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any additional questions, so we will wrap things up. That's the end for today. So on behalf of myself and Brian and all of us here at JMC, thank you for attending this webinar, and thank you for choosing JMC.